let's just do a quick talk about hold and break levels, not a recap, but let's just go over something here real quick. You have these levels that are hold levels or break levels, right? You have these levels right here. Holds the move, continues the downtrend, as you can see. You have break levels which attack the move and show you the further moving up of a move, right? And let's just make this a solid line so there's no confusion here. Solid being the break level, dotted being the hold level. Before that can happen, before an event can happen, you have trend. Trend is always the fuel to the move, right? So trend becomes a fuel to the move. You have these falling trends like this here, and you can see trend breaks and it attempts to make a move, and trend breaks again, and now the move has started and it's back attacking a valley here. And this is a different type of valley that we are going to talk about as well. Yep, there we go. This is a different type of valley that we're going to talk about as well in the future. But for now, it is an important moment. Again, trend is always a fuel in all of our moves. You can go to local timeframes and you can see trends. You can go to global timeframes and see trends, and you can see as trends get created, they also act as kind of those points of fuel. So quite simply, you break trend, it's the fuel for the move. So unless you're breaking trend, you really should never be entering trades, and unless you are. And we're going to put that back for a second. Unless you have a different reason to enter a trade, you shouldn't be entering trade unless a trend is breaking. It's just quite as simple as that. And whether you see it or not, there are local and global trends in moves. Even this right here, you have a trend within a trend, right? So it's kind of this idea of a global trend versus a local trend. So for this workshop, we are going to be doing a few different colors for trends. So we are going to mark some trends as green here and some as blue. Blue is going to be a global trend. Green is going to be local. So we're going to do local like this, and this is going to be green. And this is going to be global, and this is going to be blue. And this is going to be legacy, which we will color. Let's go purple for this one. Which will color purple. So these are the kind of trends we're going to be talking about today: local, global, and legacy trends. There are a different way that these all have a reaction point and a relationship with each other, and kind of this duality that they all share. Okay, so I'm going to go to a different time frame here. And we're going to come back to AMB. First, we're going to look at Sky, just because I want to start this off with Skycoin as something I had been talking about a lot lately, and kind of talk about this trend. And this was quite simply always going to happen. If you look at Skycoin, and we just kind of remove this chart. Right now in the markets, everybody is frantically looking for these long-term moves, right? These bigger. So quite simply, everybody right now is looking for these big trend breaks, right? They're looking for these tests of moves on a long-term time frame, right? You can see it here, establishes here, here. And so this is fine. This is just your normal trend line, and everybody's aware of that. But this is what's called a global trend, okay? This is what's called a global trend. And just going back to having, where is it here? Where's my text tool? Just going back to having that global trend being identified. This is a global trend. Sorry, it's not global, it's legacy. This is a legacy trend. So a legacy trend is the kind of the grandfather to a local trend, or the father to a global trend, right? So it's kind of this 1, 2, 3 step, right? Like 1, 2, 3, as to where this is legacy, this is global, this is local. Local trends break to attack global trends. Global trends break to attack legacy trends. Okay, so you kind of have this stepping through of trends, right? And the next one we're going to draw is a global trend, and that's going to be blue here. Okay, so then you would have a global trend within this move. The global trend would be right here. Oops, that's a level, it's not a trend. The global trend would be right here, which in this case is actually the same trend. and part of why Skycoin had such a large move. And then you'd have, and we can even, just for the purpose of this, we can define this right here as the global trend, right? And then it will have a local trend, which will be found on a smaller time frame, a 2 hour or a 1 hour. We'll do the 1 hour chart. Then you would have the local trend that starts the move, right? So you kind of have these trends like this. So when you're looking at a move, we're going to find these. We're going to drag them more into the screen here. When you have these moves where trends are attacking trends, you have to realize that there are going to be events and reactions based on the size of trend and the type of trend. You can put that there. This one can go here. And this is kind of how it works, right? So you have one trend defined by a swing, which creates the next trend defined by a swing, which creates the next trend. And if this were another trend inside of here, this would be defined by a swing right there, which it is. So they kind of staircase off of each other in order to break larger trends. And there actually is another trend in here, which actually can be seen even on a micro time frame, on a 15-minute chart, which is here. Right. So there's even this trend right here, which stabilizes the move. When you have these trends like this, we are going to go to this part of the move right here. When you have these trends like this becomes blue because this blue trend is global to this green trend. This green trend is a local trend. So let's talk about local trend for a second. Local trend means that it's local to the move. It's the trend that has to break right now in this moment to then further attack the trend above it. So that turns this into blue, right? That makes this the legacy trend, right? And that makes this just undefined at the moment. Although it's not undefined, it is defined as a trend against the larger move. So when you look at this move, when this breaks right here, right, as we step through this move, we're just going to hit play and let it step through. And fine, it breaks there and it starts accumulation. It starts laddering off hold levels, right? It starts laddering off these hold levels, and assuming it's going to move up off this hold, which it does, this is now not here, right? This is now the local trend, which is local to the hourly, because we broke down a, at first when we looked at Skycoin, we went all the way back to the start of this black line here. We looked at a time frame that was, it's going to break my replay. That's okay. I want to see where this is time framed anyways. I think this was February. Okay, July of 2018. This is a rather large trend that was trying to break. So this is a legacy trend to the move. Legacy trend meaning that it is something that has been set for a long time, and when it breaks, it's going to have a big move up. It's also going to act as resistance, support, all that wonderful stuff. You go back into the move right now, right? And we're just going to toss that replay around again. Just zoom in here. Once you broke that first local trend here, there's always going to be a local trend that you need to test and break. Now, this is going to affect the way you scalp. This is going to affect the way you take every single trade. This is going to affect every single move you ever get into. Trends become the fuel for moves. So you have to see trends as the only reason to ever enter a trade is to buy a hold level and let it exit through trend. And that acts as the fuel to a move, right? But trends happen in steps, just like accumulation and distribution, right? They happen in steps of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? There's moves that attack larger moves that attack larger moves. And when you start to ladder up, you're starting to attack larger trends. So now when you're laddering up, you're actually attacking larger trends, which in this case, we had a local trend right here that broke. Well, first it would have been right here. And that would have broke through to end the distribution, right? The whole distribution and accumulation cycle, which would have back attacked this, completing our first point where we need to break out in the future, right? So at that point, this goes away. This turns into the local trend that you're trying to attack. So once you gain that trend, you turn this into a local, and this turns into a global trend. Once a global trend breaks, you're starting to talk about a larger part of the move, right? We look at this, and this is very common in the landscape of the market right now, where you have these kind of trends that are, and you can even probably see it on the daily a little bit better. You have these trends that are trying to break and fuel bigger moves.
Hey everyone, how's it going? As you know, I'm now giving out some of this content for free that I was otherwise charging for the past little while. Um, yeah, drop a donation, subscribe to the channel, join Patreon. You'll get access to Discord. Great way. Lots of top level traders in there, people who are doing this for a career every single day. So go to Patreon, join a tier, get access to Discord. Go on Reddit, talk about future of trading, talk about the science of trading, talk about cotton candy, socials, everything you can. Let's help this thing grow. It's the way you guys can thank me for giving out this content for free that I was otherwise charging money for. So I'll leave a Bitcoin address on the screen. I'll leave the Patreon address on the screen. Just do something to help out. Okay, thanks guys. Take care.